the day when you start receiving loads of messages, happy new year, happy new year, we are here, and happy new year to all our viewers. Uh, and the topic incidentally is happiness today, but with a twist as always. I've been wondering, whatever makes me happy doesn't seem to last. How much ever I try to grasp it and get into that zone. So, for example, there are favorite dishes of mine. Right? Like I can eat dal chawal every day of the year and be very happy about it. But I've realized saying this makes it sound like, oh wow, क्या मस्त है. But every day when I do this, after the seventh day, I think यार दाल चावल का बहुत हो गया. I need to have a change of menu or something like that. So even the most simplest of happinesses doesn't seem to last. And this set me thinking that I need to provoke my guest today. Welcome Rupa to the show before I ask you the question.
Yes. Thanks, Rebandi. Happy New Year to you too and all our lovely viewers.
Thank you. Uh, why does this happen again and again? You just want a small kind of happiness, not even the biggest or like a big career or big house or big car or nothing like that also. Even then whatever comes to your hand seems to just leave our grasp and always untimely. There is never a time where you think, "Arey, ye thoda time to what's your problem?" But it doesn't seem to last. Why does this happen according to you, and do you agree with this notion that there is no lasting happiness per se?
Yeah. It's a very poignant question in that sense, ki it sort of highlights the paradox of life, right? Means we are pleasure seekers at the end of the day, and sort of life seems constant and quite straightforward, yet it is so complicated and paradoxical through and through. So, as much as humans detest change, array change, let's go with what we know, and people like the Gisapita route, keeps walking on the same path, sort of thing. But the mind craves stimulation, craves the change. It gets used to neuroscientifically proven fact that our senses, our minds, our thoughts get used to something on repeated. You get desensitized to it in a way, and it stops being stimulating. Like anything you say, like in terms of food, in terms of movie, entertainment, anything and everything, there is a sort of diminishing marginal utility. Sort of, you enjoy. It peaks, and after the peak, it has to come down. There's nothing that can sustain the peak. So, as much as we love and crave familiarity and we like our comfort zones, change is the only constant in life. And this is another example of that we need change to keep living life, not surviving, living life.
Hmm. So
So,
how do you then explain the greed aspect of it? There is of late everywhere in the world you see. Yesterday somebody was complaining. 10% of the people hold 90% of the wealth. It's something that is talked about often among all of us who are cribbing about the status quo.
yeah.
So, how do you see greed in that sense where people seem to be fed up of everything? Greed seems to be evergreen. Everybody wants. So, where is that? It's a very. While I'm laughing while I'm saying this, some days there is a lot of pain regarding it because
It is
you
a
see
very sad
people struggling with
situation.
basics. And then there is the other end where people are in India also land being given for peanuts and then while you may debate the politics of it and all those things, but I am saying just the unfairness of the whole thing. How do you why is greed not having a limit then? If everything in happiness is a limit, what is our attachment to greed perhaps?
Somewhere it is a reflection of our collective consciousness in that sense. Like I said, there's no need for any poverty to be actually, realistically speaking, there is enough for everyone and more. But the greed element makes it uneven, and the disparity, it's a false sense of disparity. There is no necessity for disparity, or there is no lack in reality, but the greed messes up the play, like you say. And somewhere I personally feel it is a reflection of where we are in our evolution, spiritual sense of evolution, as such. Somewhere we are still trying to figure out basics, and at the same time trying to reach for the highs. Somewhere in between that we are stuck, so we are neither here nor there, and and life just falls apart between that. You're not neither here nor content and secure, and resilient and accepting of life, nor are you high achieving, and are you able to do any of the high expectations that you have of yourself, because the basics are not sorted. So you're not somewhere wanting to sort of these basics, and you're trying to aim high, and you're stuck in the middle. So somewhere greed, I think, is a compensatory mechanism, giving you a sense, the sense of lack that comes from this insecurities and sort of not settling and embracing life for what it is. Somewhere it is the survival mechanisms extreme version is greed, because all of us have a built-in, all creatures have built-in survival mechanisms. So survival is, you want to keep alive, you want to keep going in life. That is just intrinsically built in, instinctive. Which is when it goes to an extreme level with a complication of sense of insecurity and lack, it becomes greed, is what I see it as.
Good.
So that understanding, unless people can see through that, you will be stuck in that sort of mode, I think.
Okay. It's funny that you would say that because that was kind of going to be the drift of my next question. But thanks to the last couple of sentences that you used in your answer, uh, do you think uh, essentially this arrogance, pride, power, things that we are running after, uh, what do we really lack? I want to, obviously there is some sense of lack. You did put it in that way. There is survival at one end, and from there that I want to keep surviving, keep surviving, keep surviving. My generations ought to survive, and we go crazy about it. So next 7 generations, there is this saying in Hindi, "सात पुश्तों तक खा सकता है."
Yes, yes, exactly.
So that's where it comes from. But what are we lacking? What is it that we are seeking according to you? If you were to look into your own self, whatever little you've become, I think that is a good thing also, not that it's a bad thing. Like the a parallel that I would draw, that all war leads to all kinds of inventions. Some of the best inventions have happened through war, and then war being a big word, I actually broke it down and saw it in my own, in our family lives and friends' lives. I realized that whenever there is a fight, both seem to grow in some manner.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so either it might be material growth, it might be mental growth, it might be self-sufficiency, it might be confidence. Something grows.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, yeah, like a good fighter, obviously. There are these days there is depression and anxiety, then that kind of muddles the whole thing
True,
in a
true.
new way. So my question is, what is it that is lacking? What is the core of, if you were to seek, what was it that you were seeking to reach where you are today? And what is it that you've got so that you feel a little more comfortable, or is the journey still on, or are you still uncomfortable? What's the scene?
Um, okay, to answer the first question, and then I'll come to the second half. The first question, what are we all lacking?
Hmm.
In my understanding, as I see it, it's a strong sense of self and authenticity. At the core, I think that's where it all comes down to, as I see it. A strong sense of self and authenticity, to just dare to be yourself. That's somewhere at the core, which then mutates and manifests as lack of sort of contentment in life, unhappiness, depression, anxiety, you name it. It takes various forms, but at the core, it is just because I feel we are not being ourselves, honest to ourselves and to people around us and the world around us. If you can do that, that sense of liberation and peace that one gets from just being themselves, I think takes away a lot of the sense of lack and abundance. automatically flows through when you are just at peace with yourself by being yourself. Most of us are trying to, keep up to some this yardstick that the society and family and the people around us professionally have all set. We have to always try and keep up. Or you need to have this much of a bank balance, this sort of salary every month, that sort of economic, socio-economic status has to be reflected by having a house and a car and have to go on these holidays. There is so much of these ideas that we have built around us. It's nobody's fault. People have built around us, and a lot of us, because of the prevalence of the idea, have bought into it. We have bought into that idea and say, yeah, all of this is necessary to prove that I am successful. If all of this is not in place, I am not successful. That sort of thing. So all of this is eating into your energy to live up to something, someone, somewhere. So where are you yourself in amidst all of this? You see a lot of these wonderful artists who are stuck in corporate jobs, and vice versa. A lot of these fantastic corporate people who are stuck at homes doing, caring or doing other things. So all sorts of possibilities where whatever your talent, I'm not saying it has to be a certain thing or in a certain way, but just honestly, you being honest to yourself and doing what you want to do in life, personally, professionally, spiritually. That sense of freedom, I think, at the core for the sense of discontent in life, the sense of lack, the sense of restlessness. That, like I said, comes in various ways of frustration and anxiety and depression. So that at the core is what I think resolve a lot of our issues. And as for where I am in life, yes, it's a constant journey. It's a journey till your last dying breath, I personally believe. But I have come a long way. I feel good about where I am, but it is not the end of journey. I
Okay.
still am discovering things about myself, about the world, about life. There's always, and it's sort of being in the world, you're sort of stuck in a hamster wheel at times that you have to consciously get off, and people put you back, and then you again have to jump off. People again put you back. So it's a bit of a journey, but with age and time and practice, you are less on the wheel and more outside the wheel.
Okay. So is the conflict between society and individual understanding real or is it made up? I am now, just moving the camera a little back from what you've been saying. In fact, only if we were to take the last two lines, people put us on that hamster wheel and we are trying to get off. So there is already so who are these people? Do they really put us there? Are we assuming things that, oh, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I have to do these roles, and oh, this is what I'm an Indian. I
Correct.
don't, whatever rules that you think apply to you, how real are they as a pressure, and why does the pressure exist for us? Uh, and specifically, I want to push this into the women in the world today, if you can, because that also is a new kind of pressure that women are coming out doing what they seem to want, and it's it's a it's a flux of a very very conflicting order, and layer by layer if you keep on studying it you realize, okay, there is this problem, okay, but there is also this, and there is also this, and the
Mhm.
person facing the problem is also a problem at times. So it is
Absolutely.
quite a
Correct.
ridiculous level of pressure that one is facing. So as a person, I'm trying to, go closer to you sheerly because I don't want a generic answer. You
No,
are a
no, I know.
person who does well for yourself professionally. You have a decent family life. Uh, you are responsible. You like to have fun. You're pursuing your inner journey. All of these are roles that may be demanding some kind of time allocation, attention allocation.
Yes, yes.
Uh, the Indian word jugaad comes to mind. Okay, today I'll do this and tomorrow I can
Absolutely.
manage that. There is
Yes,
some
yes,
charity service that you provide that you
yes.
spoke about last time. How do you how do you face these pressures and why do we face this pressure? What is it that makes you do, and why also while we are at that, how do you not get pressured by picking up so many roles and माने charity तो नहीं किया तो who's going to ask you? But you decided to put your finger in that pie as well. So why? Yeah, please.
Uh, yeah, it's like, yeah, you rightly said it. It is a very complicated journey with issues at every level and on a regular basis. It's not that the issue has been tackled and ho gaya. It's never the case. We
Yeah.
tackle one, another one props up, and then another one props up. But then that's just the nature of life. To answer your initial question as to who puts us in the hamster wheel, actually it's just us. We put ourselves on the hamster wheel. Nobody is putting you on gunpoint and saying chalo abhi now go onto the hamster wheel. Nobody is telling us that. We take on the pressure somewhere. We we give up our power. I am allowing people to tell me, oh, you need to do this and live up to the society standards. I am buying into it. Nobody is putting the gun to my head to buy into it. So it's somewhere, because we are social animals, we want that acceptance, we want that recognition from others. Being social animals, we want to be part of, belong to a community, belong to a certain process. So that sense of belonging is somewhere drags us into these processes, I think. But somewhere it is a constant push and pull between you trying to be the social animal and still be yourself. It's paradoxical at the core, extremely paradoxical, but that is just life. The relativity of life is just so evident there, in that one scenario. But somewhere it is trying to find the balance. Like Buddha said, it is all about balance. It is not the extreme. Either extremes don't serve you, but somewhere the middle path is what will take you to where you need to be. Means all the spiritual processes say this in different ways. Gita says sthita prajna, and Buddha says the middle path. Somewhere we are always trying to find the balance, but as life or nature has it, we can't sustain the balance. We then get somewhere bored of the balance. So this comes back to your first question. It is not exciting to be balanced anymore, and then you want to push, you want to go one way or the other, and then again come back to the balance. So this is just life. Like it or not, it is what it is. And coming back to how I have my fingers in such a lot of pies, and yes, it is pressure some. It is frustrating. Sometimes I'm thinking, what am I doing with my life? Where am I? Why am I doing all of these things? Question does come up, and somewhere you don't have clear answers necessarily, but you just have to follow your joy for the moment. That's where I um, entangle the untangle the threads that I've all sort of, the spiritual, the mental, the personal, professional, charity, all sorts of things that get entangled. That's what, okay, at this point, what do I want to do? What would give me joy? What excites me right now? I have 10, 15 things to do, but right now in this one moment I can't do 15 things. So what am I picking right now? And then pick moment to moment to moment and live life.
Hmm.
That's the best I can do. And I'm guessing I haven't found any other strategy that would um, allow me the joy, the freedom, me being myself, and yet being part of the social structure.
Okay. So I was watching something and they were asking Sir Anthony Hopkins
Mm.
about his role in Silence of the Lambs, obviously.
Of course.
Um so he said I decided not to just to uh, be normal, and that kind of I'm not saying the exact words that he used, but he tried to be
Mm.
normal and just uh, said his dialogues without any. The menace came from the way that he kept on sticking to that without being dramatic, perhaps.
Sense of
Normal manner.
so-called normalcy and
Yeah.
yet being, yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, that's sort of,
So,
yeah.
if I were to pick this up and uh, if a robber, murderer, serial murderer, any kind of criminal would uh, use this dialogue that you used uh, and say, कि, what makes me happy is this TV that you own. I need to take it away. or your mobile phone, or this happiness or whatever. How does that how does one arrive at the balance of, because before this, when you put it, it seemed like a psychological issue that I am taking the pressure of the society, I am deciding, okay, I am going to invest in my personal power and say no, this is how I want to do things. And yet there is no individual which is so separated from the society, unless you go to some cave and you're meditating all day. Even there, in those kind of places in Sri Lanka, there are villages that adopt you, so they will come and feed you daily. You may not have any communication, whatever you are supposed to do, whatever you're doing, they will just provide you with the food that you've decided. That's about it. So still you are dependent on society, so there is no
Yeah.
way you can escape interaction.
No, you can't. Yeah, true.
So when I am a negative person, negative being just a tag that I am giving it. By social rules, it's a negative because I can't murder you, I can't steal your money, I can't rob you of your individual agency in any of the factors that I want my individual agency. How does one arrive at a balance in a sensible manner, for want of a better term? Mane, how do I come to a point where I am not treading on your toes, but I am also ensuring that this balance that you spoke so beautifully about is not as easy, because
No.
I am also oscillating all the time.
Yes, yes.
And then you come and you give me some rule, and I am angry and I am fighting with you or robbing you or whatever.
Mm.
So, how do you, as a human being, how do you look at it? I would want you to pause and think of a point where you actually been negative in your head about something, even if it is a harsh word or something. And what is it that prompts you to come back to normalcy? Or when you lose it, what happens? When you don't lose it, what happens? Because the frustration is very real. The the sense of entitlement is very real. Like a robber might think Valmiki being Valmiki, before he became a saint, he was a proper dacoit. It's only when he realized, when the kid and his wife said, "Look, you got to provide for us. Why would we take your karma?"
Correct.
So I am coming from there. How do you come to that point? And in your head, if at all you've ever been a little negative about something, how do you arrive at that? Today also, say by negativeness, sometimes we have this whole thing of, okay, I rob your agency and I have mine. I am not saying like that. I may just say a harsh thing or two that you may not like,
Mm-hmm.
and that puts you down in a very sad manner.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how do you calm down? How do you come back to the humanity that makes you the kind of balanced human being that we are talking about? Because in that moment, it's some days it's impossible. I mean, all the meditation goes on,
I know.
and
I
then
know.
you're just you want to be inhuman, you want to be cruel, you want to hurt the other person, even if it is through words.
True.
So how do you when these things happen, when you are unable to do, when your frustration might be genuine also, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it is you versus me, and we both seem entitled to that one thing. How are
Mm-hmm.
we going to get, how are, what is the balance point individually? I don't want to know the balance point between you and me or the
Yeah.
society and you,
Mm.
but you, how do you arrive at that?
Yeah, somewhere, like you say, things can get so out of hand and frustrating and upsetting that it is very difficult to bring yourself back into balance. You want to lash out in some way or the other. You want to,
Yes.
like you say, verbally, physically, some way you want to vent it out. I do get to that state where I have to find my balance, but it is a process. Yes, I have to lash out, I might vent out, but it is that awareness that helps me bring back somewhere. Once I have lashed out and I have observed myself lashing out, which is again quite difficult at times to hold to the awareness, the being a sakshi to the process, being the witness, but somewhere with practice it does get better. Initially it was way harder and harsher, and it was way after that I realized, oh, I did that and I didn't need to do that, sort of thing. So with age and time and practice, I think it has come closer to the incidents. So, initially it used to be, oh, I realized only the next day. Then it became the same day. And then it became a few hours. Now it's a few minutes. So it gets better. It does get better as long as you have prioritized it as something that you want to do and it is unacceptable for you to be any other way. I had to see the value in it. So, for example, once upon a time, my own personal journey of being short tempered, the sense of entitlement. Arey, but what I was saying was just, logical and sensible. Why would you not see the point? It used to frustrate me. I'm telling you from my personal experience and a thousand other personal experience, and you don't want to take it and you just want to say, "Ah, yours." To what end? That sort of frustration that builds up. And then after a point in time, I realized this is not who I want to be. I don't want to be this angry, frustrated person. Who's benefiting? Nobody. Not me, not them, definitely not. What's the point? That sort of awareness is what clicked, which said, that's it. I'm calling the shots. I choose not to be like this, but I need to know why I am being like this. So then you start, my journey was I started monitoring my triggers, what irritated me, what upset me. And at the end of the week or so, I realized it was just ego gratification, as simple as that. I was not heard, I was not being listened to, I was not being seen. That is what was more frustrating than the actual reality of the matter, which is very subjective. What is straightforward and sensible for me is absolutely absurd for somebody else, and vice versa. So there is no absolute truth that all of us are working with. All of life, all of truth is subjective. So then whom am I kidding? Why am I imposing myself, or why should anybody impose anything on me either? So that sense of balance automatically comes in with that awareness. So once I realized it is ego gratification, then every time the thing rose in me, I said, Rupa, do you want ego gratification? Sure. And once I choose no, it just settles. It comes right away. Instant. It happens instantly. But that awareness is at the core for me to bring myself to balance. And somewhere a lot of events that happen around us is sort of a mirror to us, about us. And it's for you to see that in that way to get the best out of it. So maybe seeing suffering children in Ukraine or Gaza or Africa or wherever, or um, uh, people falling apart all around you, whatever it is, the greed. There are enough things in the world to upset you if you pick up on it that way. But somewhere you still have to bring it back to yourself. What is this trying to tell me? You could learn from it and choose to be that way or definitely not be that way. Everything is teaching you something or the other all the time. It's up to you to pick up or not. It's your choice. And somewhere life has its way of bringing things to you that you need for this life's journey and evolution. The sooner you pick up on it, the sooner it stops. The longer you take to pick up on it, it's patient. It's got no rush. It'll keep being back to you in different scenarios. So that's all there is. So the frustration and everything that we pick is us not seeing things beyond that, beyond ego or beyond our limited thing. If you become a bit more empathetic, a bit more compassionate, rise above the initial scenario that you're hitting against, life will feel and look different. But it is that awareness which is your savior.
Is is awareness by itself happiness?
Awareness by itself is liberating. It gives you that space to make a choice. In that sense, it gives you the sense of freedom to be yourself and make a choice for yourself, which can give you peace, which can be happiness or not, but it gives you the sense of peace.
Okay. So the question is not so much about the happiness aspect of it. Peace and happiness can be synonymous here. My question is awareness a be all and end all in itself, or does one need to dig deeper once I am aware? So I can be aware and I
And
feel
do nothing about it. Yeah, that's a choice.
I can continue being angry with you, and instead of giving you, so in my head, I have I used to give you four swear words earlier. I use only two now, so I am better off anyways. So you deserve those two. Come on, money. Why shouldn't I? So that is also a
Of
sense.
course, why not?
So, and I mean it genuinely. While it is, we are laughing about it. It happens because there are
Yeah,
times when
yeah,
you
I
think
agree. It
you've
does.
really been very kind and something you could have hit the other person. You didn't, and you just gave two bad words. So what's the big deal? You're
Yes,
also angry anyways.
it is progress.
So which is progress, but the awareness that I like what you answered earlier, and the early part of your answer also, where you said it is not benefiting me or the other.
Mm,
That is a
mm,
very critical point to reach, and you really need to reach it. It's
mm,
not
mm.
easy. It's definitely because it also forces me to relook at my premise because I need to accommodate you. I
Yes,
don't want to.
yes, yes,
I'm so
yes.
angry. I just want to be right.
Correct,
And in
correct.
fact, has it happened to you? I do not know. Sometimes in the middle of my argument, I realize I am completely wrong about this. This is bullshit. But what am I talking? Mane, I am in the throes of full anger, and I think, what? And halfway through, you don't know whether to keep up the pretense of continuing the fight or else actually go down that rabbit hole and check where this is going. Oh shit, I am wrong. Maybe I need to relook and check my premise.
The humble pie, yes, yes.
And it is so beautiful because this awareness, what you spoke of, is the constant development of it definitely helps as a speed breaker in your habit patterns, whatever
Mm,
they are.
mm, mm, mm.
By itself, they may not help fully,
No,
but
no.
they certainly are needed for the pause, for the space, for the basic humanity to be there while we are fighting. Okay, let's not kill each other. So a
Yes.
wonderful line comes to me from the Godfather, Mario Puzo. He writes about when Godfather makes peace with the other dons of the city, and he's used a line: they would not send each other Christmas cards, but they would not kill each other. That was peace enough for them. That was friendship enough for them in their world.
Beautifully said.
And I said, wow, what a thought it is. And actually, it is peace because they are violent men.
At
And,
their level, yes, yes. Huge
and they are
violence.
only doing violence as a daily business. So they wouldn't know any other way. So they would
Yes,
say, okay, I won't kill you. That's good enough. I guess you will have to live with it.
yes, 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 yes. Beautifully
Um,
said.
very beautiful. Um, I am realizing that this conversation is so beautiful in the way that you're actually coming down to personal agency being a very important thing in why happiness does not last. So when I asked you the question, and when I was framing it and when I was putting it across as an opener, the whole idea was that there is something else that is affecting my happiness, and that needs to be corrected so that I get what I am due, which is happiness and peace and contentment and whatever good things that I seek in my life. And as your answers are going deeper and deeper, you're realizing it is you who is deciding whether to be happy or not. Now, when is there any point where there is no personal agency involved? Is my one part of the question. Second, what about the other person's blame? I mean, where does that fun part go away? माने कुछ तो उसका भी गलती होगा ना एवरीथिंग can't be only me. So
Very true.
So two parts to the question. One is there ever anything where my personal agency is absolutely not involved in making me unhappy? Or is it a question worth reconsidering and saying the question itself might be wrong?
I would say there are sometimes circumstantial possibilities which are overwhelming. And for example, if you're in the middle of an earthquake or a volcano, it's not personal choice in that sense that I didn't bring about the earthquake or the volcano. I didn't cause it to erupt either. But I still have the personal agency, the choice to deal with it in the way that's most conducive to me or how I see fit. that I don't think there is any time where you are devoid of agency.
Okay.
Can the extent could vary. So if I'm in the middle of the earthquake, there isn't a million things I can do. Maybe there are only 50 things I can do, but there are still 50 things. There's never a point where I feel that you have zero agency,
Okay.
including your dying moment. You are choosing to die at that moment. So there's never a point where you are devoid of agency ever.
Okay. You just loaded it. Let us just park it. Complete your answer.
Sure. So that's the first part of the question. Um, the second part was,
Others or the
yeah, the others,
circumstance.
yeah, how,
How do you see the
yes,
circumstance or the others? It
yes.
is
So,
funny, but you tell me when you're angry, how do you not see the other person is to blame? You are seeing it, that's why. So while
but
the ego part of mine is right, I am trying to safeguard myself.
yes,
Uh, I know better answers than that, but I don't want to reveal it as of right now. But I want to know what about the other? What about the circumstance? Why is the
maybe,
earthquake not scary enough for me? Where is personal agency? अरे जान पे आ रही है तो दूसरे को धक्का मार के मैं भाग गया बचाने के लिए. It might be my fear overtook me, or
yeah, yeah,
I want to live. Mane, that is the most
yes, yeah.
essential part of my being that I need to survive. Uh, so how do you see that? Mane, continuing that same example, I think helps because it is a
Yes, yes,
uh,
yes.
fight or
Yeah, it
flight
sort of
at the
gives.
most.
So yeah, like you say, I have limited choices in that in the middle of the earthquake, but I still have choices. I could, stampede on somebody and run for life is a possibility. I could take the other person with me and try to go as far as I can. And and a lot in the middle. I could
I
say
could
one
give
or
up my
the
life
other.
and save
Yeah,
somebody.
that too. Yes, that too. Or I will have multiple choices. Do I save this person or that person or neither or both? So at that point, you are, like you rightly say, running on instincts. And that would take over. But again, those instincts have been
Yeah,
toned or have been uh, built to that day from years of in the past that you've chosen to be a certain way. So all of a sudden a person who's been super selfish, super greedy, can't one day be super compassionate. It doesn't happen overnight. It could, I can't say it doesn't ever, but generally not. It's a bit of a journey where you have to sort of
yeah,
mold yourself to choose a certain
true.
way. And even on that point, you would choose instinctively, but based on where you are in your evolutionary journey. That would be the driving factor. As for somebody else's fault ruining your day or your life, again, awareness is your saving grace, where you say, this is my journey, that is his journey. As much as I am entitled to my belief system and my choices in my life, so is that person. Why am I saying mine is superior to his or hers? Mine is mine, hers or his is his. No judgment.
Yeah,
Who am I to judge anyway? So it is somewhere that awareness that keeps you in track, irrespective of whatever crap the other person has done, how much ever it has impacted you. They might be all wrong, half wrong, doesn't matter. You still have a choice. What do I do now after all of that has happened? How do I deal with it? Where do I want to go from here? Do I want to be angry and upset at the person, take up a fight, go down that route? Say what you want to say your bit, and then go on your way, or totally ignore. All of these are choices. And whichever resonates with you, which is truly feeling authentic to who you are, pick that one and just go about. There is no right answer.
Before I get on to my question, while you were speaking, I remember uh, Passion of the Christ has this scene where when they are putting up the cross and there is a robber and there is somebody else, the robber starts to cry and he says, "Ke leave, matlab kill me, don't kill him." He's praying for you. He cannot believe that there is a concept like that
Hmm.
exists, and it's such a huge thing. Like here is a guy who's being literally tortured and maybe killed,
Yeah,
and he is praying for you. How is that even possible?
yeah, yeah.
It's a beautiful movie. There are just too many scenes in that film that instinctively I completely connect with. That it is
Heart-wrenching,
such
yeah.
a outrageously human actually. It's the other way around where a lot of people I find it very dissatisfying when people say we are only human as if it's you need to apologize
I
for
know,
it.
I know, I
I think
know.
that is human. That is what we need to try and
The
reach.
potential is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
much more.
yeah.
Yeah.
And not easy as the movie is about care. So, coming to the question that I had, you said even the moment of death is chosen by us. Did you mean it or was that a slip of tongue?
No, I did mean it. I did mean it.
So, can you expand on that?
So some people are aware of their time to pass a few days, few weeks, or few hours in advance. Uh, some talk of it, many don't talk of it. Um, but that the time of death, the reason I said is still chosen is from my experience with past life regressions and sorts. I've often come across the idea where you choose the time of death and the way you pass. It's a choice, maybe not a conscious one, not aware to our limited mind, but somewhere deep our higher self has chosen it to be that way, in that way. So as much as life seems a bit chaotic and all over the place and paradoxical and it's just out of hand, it is actually a rhythm. If you look deep, the snowflake is perfect, even the ant is provided for. Life has a flow, has a rhythm. Sometimes we get carried away on the so-called negative front of it, but there is a much deeper, higher wisdom at play, running life, sort of, you know orchestrating and conducting life. And something as important as birth and death can't be just random. My personal belief, my personal experience is it is all orchestrated, all timed, with reason, with choice, with a purpose.
Okay.
Not sure if that makes sense, or is it being too.
Okay, I don't want to park on that because that by itself might be a
It's
topic
a
that
it's a
needs a
huge,
lot
yeah,
more thinking.
yeah, true,
But
true.
that leads me to a very interesting question. Are we just our tendencies taking birth?
Yes and no. It's a very complicated answer. I'm thinking, how do I even start answering this question? As far as my experience and my understanding of life goes, we choose it all for a reason again, including the tendencies. There is a perspective that, yeah, you have gotten it from a previous birth or previous experiences, but it is a choice to carry it over. It's a choice to resolve it by carrying it over.
Explain this last line.
So there is, so the, so again, I'll have to go back to a regression where my source of my personal knowledge that I resonate with comes from. So there is when you do regress, you go to past lives is common, but there is more to it than just past lives. There is a concept called life between lives. So where you have finished one life, you haven't taken another life, but somewhere in between space is where the core of your next life and the review of the previous life happens. So the so-called tendencies that you say would be bought on or not bought on, picked up or not picked up. All the choices of what my experiences for the next life needs to be. What lessons do I want to experience? What paths do I want to walk on, and uh, whom do I want to get on with? And all of those details are decided at that point. So the so-called tendencies, or depending on the experiences that if you want to experience forgiveness in life, because one is to I know what a big feast looks like, but until unless I really taste it, eat it, experience it firsthand, that knowledge on its own isn't the full picture.
Okay.
So, as much as, for example, forgiveness or compassion is a beautiful, magnificent concept. I know it, but until as I experience it, it is not complete. Could be the thought process of that being at that point. So, for them to experience forgiveness, you can only experience forgiveness if you have been wronged. So then you have to pick a wrong in life as well to come your way. So
This
all of
happens
this,
between lives.
life between lives. So it's a big concept in itself. Like I said, I don't want to go, it'll be
Okay,
another huge,
neither
yeah.
do I. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that, so even the tendencies that you talk about is a choice. So at the highest level, everything is a choice. Even the destiny, the silhouette that we choose for this lifetime. It seems fixed, it seems destined, but it's a destiny that we have chosen again. Again, I'm not saying this is the only idea out there, but this is the idea that resonates with me,
Yeah, yeah.
is liberating
I'm
to
trying to I'm trying to
provide
think
a good life.
in terms of, so it does come to personal agency all the time. That was also the answer I was
Yes.
kind of looking at, because I realized quite some time back in my journey that there are these nice pockets that we've built. I'm a believer, I'm a non-believer, I'm an agnostic, I'm this, I'm that. Uh, they may have their uses. Obviously, on a journey, you need to see milestones and
Yep.
have some kind of idea where you're moving. Uh, Although it's a false narrative, I don't think at any point we really know unless we know, and that knowledge comes much, 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 much later than after it has happened. And even then, unless we've reached the final point of the journey, it seems to me like a Nanak, a Buddha, or these kind of people, you haven't really understood your journey, because it's always in a flux and there are things happening. And the personal agency happens moment by moment, again and again, whether in lives or in between lives. And that in between lives might be just a microsecond of time, or
Yes.
maybe no time, or I don't know.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
All of that might just be split second things that we cannot
Yep.
point out to, because our senses are limited by their understanding, and that's where we operate from.
True.
The good news of this these questions so far is that, okay, since I have personal agency all the time, then I can actually choose to be happy. uh, the bad news is my tendencies
It's
might
all
not
your problem.
might not really uh, bring me in that direction unless there is serious effort put through various processes like discipline, internal work, genuine understanding of where the problems are arising, going to the source of issues. Uh, has this happened to you, that while doing your own search for meaning vis-a-vis your own issues and life, the answers are pretty basic most of the time. They kind of resonate with all of humankind, and you see, oh, not only are you forgiving the other person because you've chosen forgiveness or whatever, I'm not getting there yet. I don't think it is that easy. I wish it were, but the experience of it, even while you're going through it, must be quite its own journey. But the point being, you realize, okay, the Rupa and I are the same, and my all my guests are the same, all the listeners are the same, and all the, yes, I get colored, yes, I want views, I want likes, I want all the nonsense of social media. Oh, I want to be known, to be able to do these things. I want it to be remunerative, and hazar things can be there. Agendas are. That's why I said at every layer there is a problem that can arise because
Yes.
of I having corrupted the entire process of not watching it but participating. So once I participate, then the participation has a cost. So it's a ticket to some interaction. So it might be good or bad, but since I bought the ticket, now I have to live with it.
Yes. Yes.
But having said that, Is there any, so you keep talking about my path, and of course, you gave a name to it, past life regression, whatever you tried, and it resonated with you. I like the word resonate quite a lot because it's ambivalent enough to say that you had a choice and you chose it, rather
Mhm.
than putting it as a final truth, which it may not be. Resonance is that, okay, it seems plausible to me at this point of time. Is there a method to the madness that can take you there? And if it is there, is it possible for you to take us through it without getting into specifics of names? And because then it becomes, oh, past life regression, it's all bullshit. It automatically cuts it off. What I have come to realize is that there is no such thing as it's all bullshit or it's all great. The
Mhm.
names may keep on varying, but we are actually pointing out at the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
the
absolutely.
so,
Absolutely.
so is there any method to the madness in your journey which you think has helped you? Because you said it has helped you with from a few days of realizing that you were wrong to coming to a few minutes and a few hours of, oh, maybe I
Mhm.
was not appropriate in my observation or my gesture or my expression. So, is there anything that has helped you where you can see it a little objectively? Okay, this is how I actually grew from here to here. Any part of the journey, maybe there is a method there, maybe some pointers.
I think it is more, as in my experience at least, and the little bit that I've seen around and grasped is that it's just allowing life to flow, allowing life to flow to you, through you,
Okay.
in the sense that we often have ideas and opinions and expectations about everything in life because we are told to or expected to have it. Sometimes you just can be ambivalent and neutral about things and processes and just be open to it. Some of the processes work for you, some don't, some might even harm you, make you unhappy or whatever. But even that has its own benefit. So it is just, in my experience, I feel allowing life, just being open to all processes and allowing life to come to you. Life happens naturally and effortlessly. We are the ones standing in the way of life, actually speaking, with our ideas and opinions and expectations. And, this has to be, this shouldn't be, this is good, that is bad, with our labels and qualifications and judgments. Somewhere you just let life be and let it flow. Things that are meant for you and for your journey, for your evolution, comes to you. You don't have to go looking for it, and you don't have to walk a certain path or do certain things for it to come to you. Just be yourself and life flows through you.
But the experience might be cancer or some such thing, and even there you
Very
have
much
to
so.
be open
Very
to the
much so.
idea of, okay, this is what is best for me.
Yes. And it has something for you to pick from that too. No matter how ugly and how negative the experience appears, if you believe that this has a lesson for me, this has a process for me, this is for my evolution, that's what it will be. Because we define life, we create our own realities. Because we are the choosers, remember? We are making choices actively every moment. So we choose to take only a positive experience from this experience, no matter how bad and ugly it looks. I will only take a positive one from this because I know life serves me. No reason, life has no qualms with me. Why should it not serve me? We are symbiotically living life, and there is no reason life has, or the something out there is out to harm me. Why? Doesn't make sense. So no matter what happens, no matter how it appears, it is there to serve me. That belief takes you through.
Hmm. So you're saying the ending of Interstellar is what you resonate with.
Well put.
Well, that seems the most difficult thing that I could imagine ever in my life, to be suspended in time and space like that. And that is scary
You
for
will
me
love it
too.
if you were there, maybe. You can't imagine it now, but I'm sure you would love it if you're there.
Well, I don't know. It's not the most enjoyable of thoughts to have about that. My life is interesting enough as you are privy to some of it at times. Uh, it's such a joy just discussing things which may be difficult to discuss otherwise if we were not holding them uh, lightly. Specifically, these questions are not easy to come up in my head. There are times when I speak, there is a whole surge of emotion in me, and I'm trying to calm down internally while so that I can communicate and I don't get overwhelmed by the thought itself. Uh, Yet it is guests like you, friends like you, who are available to come on camera and discuss things threadbare, which are so human, which are so relatable to each one of us. Sometimes your and my words might not be it. I definitely buy into that, and I sometimes when I look back, I cringe at looking at, okay, this is not the word. I know what I was thinking there, but this is definitely not the word I was thinking.
I know what you mean. Language is very limiting at times. Yes.
Yeah, and yet there is no doubt in my mind that the space that is being created is an oasis of sorts in a world that needs healing, and that includes us as being healed, not the healers actually. Just
Absolutely.
because the space is being created, and thank you so much once again for joining this wonderful talk, and it's been a joy, like always.
Thank you so very much, Bante. It's a joy to be here, and thank you for making the world a better place. You
Uh,
make the world a better place.
it already is, I guess.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.